The first bullet tore through the air, striking the dusty ground mere inches from her boots. Lieutenant Maya Sinclair froze, the sharp crack of the rifle echoing in the abandoned training yard like a judgment. She had faced combat zones before, chaos and life-or-death situations. But nothing had prepared her for the audacity of a general opening fire on a medic in the middle of a controlled exercise. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who is listening. Maya had been tending to a wounded recruit, his groans muffled by the dirt and sweat that clung to his uniform. Her hands, steady from years of battlefield medicine, shook ever so slightly, not from fear, but from disbelief. She had followed every protocol. She had respected every chain of command. And yet here she was, facing contempt in the form of muzzle flash and smoke. The general's eyes were cold, sharp, calculating. "Step aside, medic," he barked, his voice carrying the arrogance of someone who had never known challenge. Maya's jaw tightened. She could have obeyed. She could have let him take the lead. But something inside her snapped. This wasn't just arrogance. This was reckless cruelty, the kind that could cost lives if left unchecked. She straightened, her breath slow, her eyes locked on his. "Sir," she said, voice calm but firm, "I'm keeping him alive. That's my duty, not yours to test bullets on." The general scoffed, lifting the rifle again, a smirk curling at the corner of his mouth. Around them, the air grew tense, charged like the moment before a storm. Dust rose from the ground with every step, sunlight flickering through the sparse trees, casting long shadows across the yard. Soldiers nearby whispered among themselves, uncertain whether to intervene, muttered warnings, others held their breath. The moral tension was thick enough to taste. Maya's eyes darted to the wounded recruit. She had to protect him. But could she survive this audacity? Her heart pounded, but her hands remained steady. She had faced impossible odds before. She could do it again. She thought she'd never see anyone take her side. She was wrong. Suddenly, a shadow fell across the general. A crisp whistle cut through the air, commanding and precise. The general froze. One by one, soldiers emerged from behind the sparse training obstacles, their movements synchronized, professional, undeniable. Not just any soldiers, elite members of the SEAL team assigned to the base, observing the exercise for oversight. Their eyes, trained to detect danger and injustice alike, locked on the unfolding scene. The tension cracked. The general's smirk faltered. He realized too late that his actions had consequences beyond the petty arrogance of rank. Maya's gaze never wavered. She administered aid with practiced precision. All while the elite team moved like a tide around the general, silent, disciplined, yet undeniably authoritative. Dust swirled in the sunlight as their boots struck the ground in unison. Each movement spoke volumes: respect for procedure, courage in the face of recklessness, and loyalty to the code that no rank could override. Whispers turned to murmurs among the onlookers. The wounded recruit's eyes, wide with fear moments ago, now reflected awe and relief. Even the general's own soldiers shifted uneasily, caught between loyalty and conscience. The team captain approached, voice calm but carrying the weight of unquestionable authority. "Sir," he said, gesturing to the medic and the patient, "protocol is being followed. Interference is unnecessary and unacceptable." The general's face drained of color, the reality of his actions hitting with the weight of experience, not speculation. Maya exhaled, hands finally resting after applying the last necessary bandage. She looked up at the general, not with vengeance, but with quiet authority. "Duty isn't about proving power," she said. "It's about protecting life." The moral tension finally resolved itself. The general lowered the rifle, shame and disbelief battling in his eyes. Around them, murmurs of approval and respect rippled through the assembled soldiers. A lesson had been learned through violence, but through restraint, courage, and unshakable professionalism. As the SEALs escorted the general back to reevaluation, Maya helped the recruit to his feet. The air smelled of dust, gunpowder, and something else: vindication. She had stood her ground. She had saved a life. And she had shown that courage didn't belong to the highest rank. It belonged to the heart willing to protect, no matter the danger. Because true authority isn't claimed, it's earned. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And in that quiet moment, with the dust settling and the sunlight glinting off the rifles of the elite team, The soldiers around her understood something essential: respect for life, skill, and courage transcends rank, arrogance, and fear. If this story inspired you, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to Whispered Words for more tales of courage, resilience, and the heroes who walk among us.